Good afternoon. We are reviewing for the quiz, which is tomorrow for 9th grade. Tomorrow is November 6th. Today is November 5th. So your quiz will be tomorrow, and this is a review for that quiz. So number 1 says, determine if the function is linear. In order to tell if something is linear, it has to have a constant rate of change. If the rate of change is constant, then it is linear. So we have to decide or figure out if it is constant. So if I have -8 minus -6, I would get -2. If I have -10 minus -8, I would also have -2. -12 minus -10 is -2. And -14 minus -12 is -2. On the left-hand side, 4 minus 1 is +3. 7 minus 4 is also a +3. 10 minus 7 is a +3. And 13 minus 10 is a +3. Okay, so if I were to divide -2 by 3, I would get the same thing as this -2 divided by this -3, and this -2 divided by this -3, and this one divided by this one. So when I divide the y value change by the x value change, so if I do the change in y divided by the change in x for each part, and they're all equal, then this is linear. So this one is linear. And I would put yes or linear. And I would also show my work on the quiz. Okay, the second one, it says find the slope of the line that passes through the points -3, 4, and 2, -3. So this is what you did in science class also. I'm going to give you the formula on your quiz. So here's the formula, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, and this is divided. Okay, so if I have two ordered pairs here, my first ordered pair is -3, 4. So this would be my x value in the first point and my y value in the first point. This one would be my x value in the second point and my y value in the second point. So when I put them in the formula, I want y2, and it looks like y2 is equal to -3. So I'm going to write -3. And then there's a minus sign, so I'm going to write minus. And then it says y1 is equal to 4. So I have 4. Divided by x2, which in this case is 2, minus x1, which in this case is -3. Then I'm going to subtract. -3 minus 4 is -7. 2 minus -3 is 5. Now, if I can do -7 divided by 5 and get a whole number, then I'm going to go ahead and do that. So for example, if I have 2 divided by 1, that would give me 2, and so I would divide. But -7 cannot be divided evenly into 5 groups. So this one will stay -7 over 5. I'm going to leave it as a fraction. Okay, number 3 says find the slope of the line graphed below. You can use your formula on this one also. So if I have 2 points, my 2 points are 1, 3, and 0, 1. This would be my x1, y1, x2, y2. So when I use the formula, I go 1 minus 3 divided by 0 minus 1. 1 minus 3 is -2. 0 minus 1 is -1. -2 divided by -1. So on this one, I'm going to go ahead and divide, and I get +2, because -2 divided by -1 gives me a +2. Okay, so that's finding the slope. If we move on to direct variation in proportions, this one says, suppose y varies directly as x. And then it says, and y is equal to 36 when x is equal to 9. it says write a direct variation equation that relates x and y. So we want an equation. Remember, the equation for direct variation is y equals k multiplied by x. So my final answer is going to be y equals, I'm going to have a number here and then an x. But I need to find out what this number is. It's the constant of variation, or the constant of proportionality. Okay, but I don't know what it is yet. So I'm going to use the 36 and the 9 to find out what the k is. So I'm going to use the equation 36 equals k multiplied by 9, okay, because 36 is equal to y and 9 is equal to x. So where the x is, I'll put the 9, and where the y is, I'll put the 36. And then I'm solving for k. So if I solve this equation, to get the k by itself, I would need to divide by 9. Okay. Okay, so I have 36 divided by 9, which equals 4. So my constant of variation, or k value, is 4. So my answer would be y equals 4x. This would be my answer because I want a direct variation equation. So it needs to look like this. The slope would be 4, or the constant of variation would be 4, and I found that from this part. Okay, so this would be my answer. This one says, tell whether the following tables represent a proportional relationship. Okay, so this one is proportional. Proportional means that when I divide this number by this number, so each y divided by x should give me the same thing. So if I do 75 divided by 1, I get 75. If I do 150 divided by 2, I also get 75. If I do 225 divided by 3, I'm also going to get 75. And 300 divided by 4, I'm also going to get 75. So because when I divide the y value by the x value, I get the same thing every time, this one is proportional. Which also means that it's a direct variation equation. Okay, on this one, 9 divided by 1 equals 9. 12 divided by 2 equals 6, though. 15 divided by 3 is 5. And 18 divided by 4 is a decimal. 4.5, I think. Okay, so because this one, when I did 9 divided by 1, I got 9, and 12 divided by 2, I got 6. These are different, so this one is not proportional. Okay, now it would be linear if I figured out this is plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1. So it is linear, but it's not proportional, because if I divide the y value by the x value, I'm not going to get the same thing every time. But this one is linear and proportional, because if I divide the y value by the x, each time I'm going to get the same value.